Hello, genies. This is your author Lily. So I'm going to read this story for you guys. If you don't like, then please mute the video. Author's POV. So the deal is done, said the girl as she stood up and shook hands with the man in front of her. Sure, I'm glad that we are cooperating, Miss Mia. The man stood up too, being very happy, and shook hands with her. She smiled a bit and then left. The clicking of her heels was fading as she exited the building. The man sat and smiled brightly as he said yes. Finally, Singapore's famous multinational company is finally collaborating with me. He was over ninth cloud when he heard knocking off his office door. He was permitted to come inside his office from and saw his disheveled secretary. He looked towards him in pure disbelief and said, "Sir, we got a problem. The company which you just signed the deal is weak." The boss stood up and said, "What do you mean?" He said as the secretary replied, "She was the biggest scammer, WI. Who is the most wanted scammer? We got scammed, sir." The boss lost his balance as the secretary held him so he didn't fall. "Go check everywhere. She must have not gotten too far from here." The boss said as the secretary took his command, and with the help of bodyguards and guards, they split themselves into every road and transportation junctions, not knowing the girl was on their terrace. Ringing off phone call. "Hello," the girl answered the call from the terrace as the other side person asked, "Did you do the work?" "Yes," the girl replied as she smiled. "Why did you decide to stop at the terrace although you know they knew about our scam now?" the boy asked, and the girl replied, "Because they are going to look everywhere other than their own company, lol." She chuckled as the boy too and said, Great God, wine is great." The girl smirked and said, "Everything is ready because we have to leave this country as soon as possible." The boy smiled and said, "Yes, everything is ready." "Remove your makeup and face mask and go towards Terminal 3 at the airport. I booked the tickets in your name. I will meet you at the secret house direct. So stay safe, Ryan." Ryan chuckled and said, "Sure, Joy." They both cut the phone call and she proceeds towards the airport after taking her makeup off. Ryan's POV. It's been 4 years since we started scamming people. Reason? It is simple. The injustice of these corrupted people and their money, it irritates me. Don't know when this irritation turned into a new goal, and along with my brother Joy, I started this scamming game. We are most wanted scammer, but till now no one knows how we look. How? It is very easy. We always put on some makeup and hide our identity. Lol, this is so much fun to play this game where the corrupted idiots, without even thinking twice, they trapped in our plan. Well, right now we are in America, and now at this instant I am leaving this country for good. Author's POV. As they both decided, she went to the airport and left the country in the scheduled place of Milan, where she is going to meet her brother Joy. Their hideout. "Now, what's the plan?" Joy asked as Ryan smiled and said, "We have scammed enough corrupted people worldwide. What about the next target, ours to be our own country?" "South Korea?" She smirked as Joy squinted his eyes and smiled evilly and asked, "What is going on in the small head of yours?" Ryan shied and started explaining. "So I got my eyes on this boy. He's 25 years old and is an artist. Very famous artist. Everyone says that he So I think that it's the best to thug him this time. He is very much interested in Milan and its beauty. Art and painting are his passion and work. He's crazy about the MSC company located in Milan." She completed her sentence as Joy smirked and said, Gosh, Mayan, you are so evil. Korea, here we come. But wait, what about the identities and what's the plan, dude? She asked as Wine replied, I'm going to use my name this time. Just my name. My origin, birthday, and all are going to be fake. I will introduce myself as the head of the MSA and you will be my assistant. He nodded his head and Ryan smiled and said, Let the plan begin. She was confident that it will be a huge success, not knowing what will be in the distant future. Ryan and her brother packed their bags and prepared all the stuff they wanted in advance. Ryan was very delighted to go back to her home country and is very pleased with the plan. They both arrived at the airport and booked the five-star hotel with the same identity they made for the scam. Ryan and Joy were over the moon after estimating all the thug they are going to do in just 1 month and will be leaving this country as well. Wearing the luxurious suit with an expensive wristwatch and minimal accessories, which are small but authentic, she took one last look at the mirror and took a deep breath and said, Ryan Man is ready to go. The confidence was overflowing from everywhere. Joy came towards her, being ready to go, and said, Okay, so Min Ryan, are you ready for your deal with the artist? Ryan smirked and said, Sure, Mr. Cha, the assistant. They both smiled and left the room. In the office of the artist, Ryan knocked on the door, heard a small comment, and went inside the office but saw an unexpected scene in front of her. She saw a lot of painting all over the room and a man working on a portrait. He looked so serious and keen towards his work and didn't realize his surroundings and said, Kim, pass me the palette. He said as Ryan looked here and there and saw no one other than her. She sighed and went towards the palette and passed it to him. He took it but stopped for a second when he looked at her hand and see an expensive girl's wristwatch. Being confused, he looked upwards and his eyes met with hers, and she lost herself in his ocean deep like eyes. They both stared for about 5 minutes when they heard a knocking sound, and that's when they came back to their senses. Ryan stood up straight and cleared her throat and looked here and there to ease the awkwardness. She looked towards the artist and said while forwarding her hat for a handshake, Hello, Mr. John Jungkook. This is Minwayan, the head manager of the best company in Milan MSA, and this is my assistant, Mr. Cha. She said as Jungkook took her hand and shook with her. A shiver ran down her spine at the contact of their hand. She was confused so as to why that happened but ignored it for now. Nice to meet you, Miss Min and Mr. Cha. I am very pleased to and honored to have you guys here and very excited to collaborate with your company. He completed his sentence when he heard a soft knocking sound. He looked towards the door and saw Jungkook's secretary. He nodded as the secretary came inside and bowed as an honorific. Ryan and Joy bowed too. This is Mr. Kim. He is in charge to see all of my paperwork and all the legal things. Ryan eyed the secretary and smiled sweetly, more like a smirk, and said, Sure thing. Anyway, let's discuss the deal and the demands, she said as Jungkook nodded his head in acceptance and said, So sure. Let's start with all the details and where the exhibition will be. He completed his sentence as Ryan took a deep breath and said, Okay, so the exhibition will be on the Galleria Gallery, and about the genre, you can make any of them and even use the old paintings. Jungkook nodded and said, Seems a good plan to me. Ryan smiled in victory and suddenly said, Oh, I forget one thing. The paintings will be delivered one day prior so that we don't have any problem afterwards. She said as Jungkook agreed with it. After some more thorough discussion, Wyatt and Joy bid their goodbyes and left the office with wide smirks on their face, whereas Jungkook and Mr. Min were in Jungkook's office and he was looking at Wyatt exiting the office through his window. Mr. Kim was noticing him. The way he looked at her and the gaze he was holding was very unfamiliar. Jungkook turned around and saw Mr. Kim looking towards him, with one eyebrow raised. Jungkook made a confused look and said, "What?" He scoffed and Mr. Kim came towards him and said, "What's cooking in this small brains of yours?" He asked, being suspicious and Jungkook shy. "Dear Young, it is nothing." Mr. Kim squinted his eyes and said, "John Jungkook, the dangerous bunny. It is going to be ages that we know each other. And unfortunately, I know you better than you do yourself. So better speak up. The way you look at her, it's clear that you either fallen for her or you are suspicious of her." He completed his sentence and Jungkook laughed a bit and said, "Taeyong Hyung, you know me so well. Hats off." He said as clapped a bit and then stopped suddenly and told Taeyong, "What if I say that both are the cases?" He said. Taeyong, when confused, asked Jungkook, "What do you mean?" Jungkook nodded and said, "I am getting interested in her, but at the same time, I am also a bit suspicious of her." He explained as Taeyong made an O face and asked, "So what is the plan?" Jungkook shrugged his shoulder and said, "I don't know. Let's see what happens in the future." Ginny, so this is my first ever voiceover video that I'm making and I know it's not perfect, but I will do hard work in future. So thank you. Happy watching.